So the chapter number 3, that is reproductive health. So we are going to study the context are reproductive health, problems and strategies, population explosion and birth control, then medical termination of pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases and infertility, right? So what is the reproductive health? So the term simply refers to healthy reproductive organs with normal functions, right? However, it has a broader perspective and includes emotional and social aspects of reproduction. So according to WHO, World Health Organization, reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Therefore, a society with people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organs and normal emotional and behavioral interactions among them in all sex related aspects might be called the reproductively healthy, right? Now, reproductive health problems and strategies. So India was amongst the first countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at a national level to attain total reproductive health as a social goal. So these programs called family planning were initiated in 1971, 1951, right? And were periodically assessed over the past decades. Now currently these family planning are under the name of the reproductive and child health care programs, RCH. Okay. Okay, introduction of sex education in schools should also be okay. Introduction of education in schools should also be encouraged to provide right information to the young so as to discourage children from believing in myths and having misconceptions about sex related aspects. Proper information about reproductive organs, adolescence and related changes, safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted diseases, that is STD, AIDS would help people, especially those in the adolescent age group, to lead to a reproductive healthy life, right? Educating people, especially fertile couples and those in marriageable age group, about available birth control options, care of pregnant mothers, postnatal care of the mother and child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for the male and the female child, would address the importance of bringing up socially conscious healthy families of desired size. Okay, so awareness of problems due to uncontrolled population growth, social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes need to be created to enable people to think and take up necessary steps to prevent them and thereby build up a socially responsible and healthy society, right? Okay, this so essential to provide medical assistance and to care to people in reproduction related problems like pregnancy, delivery, STDs, abortion, contraception, menstrual problems, infertility, etc. Now, statutory ban on amniocentesis for sex determination to legally check increasing menace of female feticides, massive child immunization, etc. are some programs that merit mention in this connection. In amniocentesis, some of the amniotic fluid of the developing fetus is taken to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances. This procedure is used to test for the presence of certain genetic disorders such as Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia. So Down syndrome, hemophilia and sickle cell anemia, etc. Determine the survivability of the fetus. Now, so Saheli, a new oral contraceptive for the females, was developed by a scientist at Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow. Okay. Now, better awareness about sex-related matters, increased number of medically assisted deliveries and better post-natal care leading to decreased maternal and infant mortality rates, increased number of couples with small families, better detection and cure of STDs and overall increased medical facilities for all sex-related problems all indicate improved reproductive health of the society. Right? Now, population stabilization and birth control. So so the world population, which was around 2 billion, like 2000 million in 19, rocketed to about 6 billion by 2000 and 7.2 billion in 2011. This was data of world. Now, talking about India, our population, which was approximately 350 million at the time of our independence, reached close to billion mark by 2000 and crossed 1.2 billion in May 211. Now, a rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality (MMR) and infant mortality rate (IMR), as well as increase in number of people in reproducible age are probable reason for this. So, why this happened like this? The sudden increase like that from billion to 350 million to stay to 1 billion. The reason was this is given like a rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate (IMR), MMR, IMR, as well as increase in number of people in reproducible age are probable reason for are probable reason are probable reason for are probable reason are probable reason for this. Okay, through our through our reproductive child health RCH program, though we could bring down the population growth rate, right, but it was marginal. So RCH did only marginal effect. Now according to the 2011 census report, the population growth rate was less than 2%. It means the population growth was less than 2%, like 20 per thousand per year, a rate at which our population could increase rapidly. Okay, such an alarm alarming growth rate could lead to an absolute scarcity of even the basic requirements, that is food, shelter and clothing, in spite of significant progress made in those areas. So therefore the government was forced to take up serious measures to check this population growth rate. Now, so you know the slogan that is hum do hamare do. In the urban areas, many couples, mostly the young urban working ones, have one child norm. So saturated rising of marriageable age of the female to 80 years and that of the males to 21 years. Incentives given to the couples with small families are two of the other measures taken to tackle this problem. So incentives given to the couples with small families are two of the other measures to tackle the problem, right? Okay, so let us discuss the contraceptive methods which help prevent unwanted pregnancy. So contraceptives are used in to prevent the unwanted pregnancy. Okay, an ideal contraceptive should be user friendly, easily available, effective, reversible, with no or less side effects. It should be in no way interfere with the sexual drive, desire or the sexual act of the user. Now, a wide range of contraceptive methods are presently available, which could be broadly grouped into the following categories, namely natural, that is traditional, then barrier, then IUDs, then oral contraceptives, then injectables, then implants and surgical methods. Now, the natural methods work on the principle of avoiding chances of ovum and sperms meeting. Now, periodic abstinence is one of such methods in which the couples avoid or abstain from the coitus from day 10 to 70 of the menstrual cycle, when ovulation could be accepted. So periodic abstinence is one such method in which the couples avoid or abstain from the coitus from the day from day 10 to 70 of the menstrual cycle, when ovulation could be expected. As chances of fertilization are very high during this period, it is called the fertile period. Therefore, by abstaining from coitus during this period, conception could be prevented. Now, withdrawal or coitus interruptus is another method in which the male partner withdraws his penis from the vagina just before ejaculation so as to avoid the insemination. So it is the withdrawal or coitus interruptus. Now, the lactational amenorrhea, it means amenorrhea is absence of menstruation. It means the absence of menstruation. Now, withdrawal or coitus. Okay, so method is based on the fact that ovulation and therefore the cycle do not occur during the period of the intense lactation following parturition. Therefore, as long as the mother breast feeds the child fully, chances of conception are almost nil. However, this method has been reported to be effective only up to a maximum period of 6 months following parturition. Okay, as no medicines or devices are used in this method, so the side effects are almost nil. Chances of failure though of this method are very high. Now, barrier methods, in which the ovum and sperms are prevented from physically meeting with the help of the barriers. But in natural method, on the avoiding chances of ovum and sperms meeting, it is naturally, it's kind of natural, but it is physically prevented. Such methods are available for both males and females, so barriers present for both males and females. Now condoms are barriers made up of thin rubber latex sheath that are used to cover the penis in the male or the vagina and cervix in the female. So vagina, then cervical canal, and then cervix. Okay. So these are the condoms, okay, that covers the vagina and cervix in the female just before coitus, so that the ejaculated sperm would not enter into the female genital reproductive tract. So this can prevent the conception. Now Nirod is a popular brand of condom for the male. Now use of condoms has increased in recent years due to its because additional benefits of protecting the user from contracting STIs and AIDS. Now both the male and the female condoms are disposable. They can be disposable, okay, they can be recycled, can be self inserted, and they can be self printed, thereby gives the privacy to the user. Now another barriers, that is diaphragm, cervical caps and walls. All these are barriers for the female, okay. Now these are made up of rubbers, okay. Now and they cover the cervix during coitus, okay. They prevent conception by blocking the entry of sperms through the cervix. So diaphragm, cervical caps and walls prevent the contraction by blocking the entry of sperms through the cervix. And they are usable, reusable, okay, they are reusable, okay. And spermicidal creams, jellies, foams are usually used along with these barriers to increase their contraceptive efficiency. So spermicidal creams, jellies and foams. Now another effective and popular method is the use of IUD, that is intrauterine device. So now these devices are inserted by doctors or expert nurses in the uterus through the vagina. Now these IUDs, that is intrauterine devices, are presently available as a non-medicated IUDs, right, as a non-medicated IUDs. So these are the lips loops. Now copper releasing IUDs, this is a copper T, copper 7, then multilo 375, and the hormone releasing IUD, that is progesterone and LNG 20. Now IUDs increase the phagocytosis of sperms within the uterus, and the copper, that is copper releasing IUD, release ions release suppress the sperm motility and fertilizing capacity of sperms. And the hormone releasing IUDs in addition make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and cervix hostile to the sperm. So cervix hostile to the sperms is the function of the hormone releasing IUDs, right. Now IUDs are ideal contraceptives for the females who want to delay pregnancy or space the children. It is one of the most widely accepted methods of contraception in the India. Now oral administration of small doses of either progestogens or progestogen estrogen combinations is another contraceptive method used by the females. They are now these oral contraceptives, they are used in the form of tablets and hence called the pills. Now pills have to be taken daily for like period of 21 days starting February within the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle, and after a gap during which the menstruation, okay, it has to be repeated in the same pattern till the till the female desires to prevent conception. So now these pills, that is the combination of either progestogens or progestogen estrogen, so they inhibit the ovulation, right. Now what they do, so they inhibit the ovulation, right. They inhibit the ovulation, implantation, as well as alter the quality of cervical mucus so that the entry of the sperms could be prevented or retarded. Now pills are very effective with lesser side effects and as well accepted by the females, right. Pills are very effective with lesser side effects. Now Saheli, the new oral contraceptive for the females, it contains a non-steroidal preparation and it is once a week pill with very few side effects and high contraceptive value, right. Now progestogens alone or in combination with estrogen can also be used by the females as injection or implants under the skin. So after the pills we have the injection or implants just like them, but their mode of action is similar to that of pills and their effective periods are but longer, right. So administration of progestogens or progestogen estrogen combination or IUDs, okay, or IUDs within 72 hours of coitus, that is 3 days of within the 3 days have been found to be very effective as emergency contraceptives as they could be used to avoid possible pregnancy due to rape or casual unprotected intercourse. So now surgical methods also called the sterilization are generally advised for the male or female partner as a terminal method. So the last method to prevent any more pregnancy. So you just decided you just don't want to get pregnant for almost lifetime. So this method is best, like it is a sterilization, okay, surgical method, right? So surgical intervention blocks, now how it works, so it blocks gamete transport and thereby prevent conception. So sterilization procedure in male is called vasectomy, and that in the female is tubectomy. So in vasectomy, a small part of the vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision on the scrotum, okay, whereas in tubectomy a small part of the fallopian tube is removed and or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. Now these techniques are highly effective, but their reversibility is very poor. This is almost negligible to be regained. Now one must remember that the contraceptives are not regular requirements for the maintenance of reproductive health. In fact, they are practiced against a natural reproductive event, that is conception and pregnancy. So they are against a natural reproductive event, that is conception and pregnancy. So one is forced to use these methods to either to prevent pregnancy or to delay or space the pregnancy due to personal reasons, okay. No doubt the widespread use of these methods have a significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population, and contraceptives also checking the uncontrolled growth of population. However, there are possible ill effects. Now what are the side effects of this taking contraceptives? So these includes the nausea, abdominal pain, then breakthrough bleeding and irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer, though not very significant but should not be ignored totally, right? Now we are going to study the empty pulse. So the medical termination pregnancy, the amended act 2070 was enacted by the government of India with the intention of reducing the incidence of illegal abortion and consequent maternal morbidity and mortality, right? So according to this act, a pregnant may be terminated on certain considered grounds within the first 12 weeks of pregnancy on the opinion of one registered medical practitioner. If pregnancy has lasted more than 12 weeks but fewer than 24 weeks, two registered medical practitioners have been signed and formed in the good faith, so that the required ground exists. So the ground, now what are the requirements? When to do the MTP? When the continuation of the pregnancy would involve a risk to the life of a pregnant woman or of grave, or it causes the injury physical or mental health. Now this is the first reason, and second should be there is a substantial risk that of the child were born it would suffer from such physical mental abnormalities as to be seriously handicapped. If the child is going to be handicapped, and if the mother giving birth suffering getting some kind of injury physically, emotionally and all that, so into that case you can do it. So medical termination of pregnancy, now MTP. So intentional or voluntary termination, it is done by the woman, okay. So intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term, so before getting into baby ready for the birth, so before that is called the medical termination of pregnancy, MTP, or induced abortion, right? Nearly 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year all over the world, which accounts 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancy in a year. Whether to accept legalize MTP or not is being debated upon in many countries due to the emotional, ethical, religious, social issues involved in it. So government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions to avoid its misuse. Such restrictions are all the important to check indiscriminate and illegal female feticides which are reported to be high in India. So such restrictions are all the important to check the indiscriminate and illegal female feticides which are reported to be high in India. Now why MTV? So obviously the answer is to get rid of unwanted pregnancy either due to causal unprotected intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during the coitus or rapes. So MTPs are also essential in certain cases where continuation of pregnancy could be harmful or even fatal either to the mother or to the fetus or both. So MTPs are considered relatively safe during the first trimester up to the 12 weeks of pregnancy. Second trimester abortions are much more riskier. On one disturbing trend observed in that a majority of MTP are performed illegally by unqualified quacks, which are not only safe but could be fatal too. So another dangerous trend is the misuse of amniocentesis to determine the sex of the unborn child, which is totally against of the law. So to determine the sex of the unborn child, frequently if the female, if the fetus is found to be female, it is followed by MTP. This is totally against what the law. So this is totally against, okay, what the law, what the law, what the legal is. Uh, so such practices should be avoided because there are because these are dangerous both for a young mother and the fetus. Okay, now sexually transmitted diseases, that is sexually transmitted infections, STIs. So infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called sexually transmitted infections or venereal disease, another name, and reproductive tract infections, that is RTI. So RTI, STI and VD, the venereal diseases, these are all the sexual transmitted diseases. Now gonorrhea simple is genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, and of course the most discussed infection in the recent years, that is HIV leading to AIDS, are the most common STIs. Among these, HIV infection is most dangerous. Okay, some of these infections like hepatitis B, HIV can also be transmitted by sharing of injection needles. So the infections like hepatitis B and HIV can also be transmitted by sharing of injection needles, surgical instruments, etc. with infected persons, transfusion of blood, or from an infected mother to the fetus too. Except for hepatitis B, genital herpes and not genital warts, it is genital herpes. It is genital herpes, right? So hepatitis B, genital herpes, and HIV infections, they cannot be cured completely, even if detected early or treated properly. Other diseases are completely curable if detected early and treated properly, but except for these three diseases, this is not possible. Now, early symptoms of most of these are minor and include itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swelling in the genital region. So, genital region are affected in the STI, sexual transmitted infections, right? Infected females may often be asymptomatic, and hence may remain undetected for long. So absence or less significant symptoms in the early stages of infection and the social stigma attached to the STIs deter the infected person from going for timely detection and proper treatment. So this could lead to complications later, which include pelvic inflammatory diseases, PID, abortions, stillbirths, ectopic pregnancy, infertility, or even cancer of the reproductive tract. STIs are a major threat to a healthy society. Therefore, prevention or early detection and cure of these diseases are given prime condition under the reproductive health care program. So, though all the persons are vulnerable to these infections, their incidences are reported to be very high among the age group of 24 to 25, 50 to 24 years, the age group to which you also belong. So now there are some principles to avoid. So avoid sex with unknown partners. Multiple partners, always try to use condoms during coitus. In case of doubt, one should go to a qualified doctor for early detection and get complete treatment if diagnosed with infection. Now we are now talking about the fertility, right? So infertility, a discussion on reproductive health is complete without a mention of infertility. A large number of couples all over the world, including India, are infertile. They are unable to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. The reason for this could be many physical, congenital diseases, then drugs, immunological, or even psychological. In India, often the female is blamed for the couple being childless. So in India, often the female is blamed for the couple being childless, the but but more often that not, the problem lies in the male partner. Specialized healthcare units, that is infertility clinics, could help in diagnosis and correct treatment of some of these disorders and enable these couples to have children. So of some of these diseases and enable two couples to have children. However, the correction are not possible. In couples could be assisted to have children through certain specialized techniques commonly known as assisted reproductive technology. So such corrections and not possible. The couples could be assisted to have children through through certain special techniques commonly known as assisted reproductive technology, that is ART. In vitro fertilization, that is IVF, that fertilization outside the body in almost similar condition as that in the body, so followed by embryo transport. Embryo transport is one of the method of IVF. In vitro fertilization, then primary and then popularly known as test tube, then primarily known as test tube baby program. Ova from the wife or donor female and sperms from the husband donor male are collected and are introduced to from zygote. The zygote or early embryos up to 8 plus 2 years could then be transferred into the fallopian tube, that is ZIFT, that is zygote intrafallopian transfer. And embryos with more than 8 plus 2 years, so more than 8 plus 2 years, so more than 8 plus 2 years, right, could then be transmitted into the fallopian tube, that is female, that is female. So embryos formed by in vivo fertilization, that is fusion of gametes within the female, within the female also could be used for such transport to assist those females who cannot conceive. Okay, so you can see there is like ZIFT is zygote intrafallopian transport, intrauterine transfer, then IUT, and then in vivo fertilization, that is outside the body. Now, transfer of an OM collected from a donor into the fallopian tube, ZIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer of another female who cannot produce one but can provide suitable environment for fertilization and further development. So this is the like surrogate type of mother is another method called the intracytoplasmic sperm injection, that is ICSI. Is another special procedure to from an embryo to from an embryo in the laboratory in the so is another special product to from an embryo in the laboratory in which the sperm is directly injected into the womb. Infertility cases, either due to the inability of the male partner to inseminate the female or due to the very low sperm counts in the ejaculates, could be corrected by artificial insemination. In this technique, the semen collected either from the husband or a healthy donor is artificially introduced either into the vagina or into the uterus, that is IUI, that is intrauterine insemination. Now, though options are many, all these techniques require extremely high precision. Okay, now not everyone's going to get the benefit because these are present in big cities, so they require money, right? Obviously their benefits are affordable to only a limited number of people. So emotional, religious and social factors are also determined in the adaptation of these matters, since the ultimate orphaned destitute children who would probably not answer in I one of the best measures for couples looking for parenthood. Is your chapter done? So you can see this diagram. It is known as a vasectomy. It is done in the male, in the human male, and this is the fallopian tubes tied and cut. This is present in the tubectomy, present in the females, right? So we studied about the infertility, then infertility. At last we study the, now this is it. So this is your chapter, like, then summary and everything. So these are the diagrams which I have left. I'm covering it now. So the condom for the male, you can see in the diagram, then condom for the female, and this one is a copper T, that is copper releasing IODs. So these are the pills, these are the implants, same as that of pills. Their mode of action is almost similar. And this is tubectomy, you can see vast difference is cut, fallopian tube is cut. That is the, so that is the tubectomy. So that is the tubectomy, and 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 this one is the vasectomy, right? So at this line, as you can see, like, intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called the medical termination of pregnancy, MTP, or induced abortion. Nearly 45 to 50 million of MTPs are performed in a year all over the world, which accounts 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancy in a year, right? Whether to accept legalize MTP or not is being debated upon in many countries due to emotional, ethical, religious, social issues involved in it. Government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions to avoid its misuse. Okay. Now this is your chapter. Now it's totally done.